Good evening and welcome tonight. We have the honor of conducting the swearing-in and oath of office ceremony for 3 incumbent members who were re-elected in the November election: Mayor Pro Tem Ron Williams, Council Member Todd Carnes, and Council Member Gavin Smith. We appreciate their continued dedication to serving our community, and we look forward to their leadership in the term ahead. We will now proceed with the administrator oath of office. First, we will invite Council Member Carnes to come forward. His oath of office will be administered by myself, and he will be joined by his wife, Carrie.
Yes, ma'am. Yes.
Place your left hand on the Bible and raise your right hand. I do solemnly swear that I'm duly qualified according to the Constitution of this state. That's a backup. I do solemnly swear that I'm duly qualified.
I do solemnly swear that I am duly qualified,
According to the Constitution of this state.
according to the Constitution of this state,
To exercise the duties of the office
to exercise the duties of the office
to which I have been elected,
to which I have been elected,
and that I will, to the best of my ability,
and that I will, to the best of my ability,
discharge the duties thereof,
discharge the duties thereof,
and preserve, protect, and defend
and preserve, protect, and defend
the Constitution of this state and of the United States.
the Constitution of this state and of the United States.
As a council member of the municipality of Lexington, South Carolina,
As a council member of the municipality of Lexington, South Carolina,
I will equally, fairly, and impartially,
I will equally, fairly, and impartially,
to the best of my ability and skill,
to the best of my ability and skill,
exercise the trust reposed in me,
exercise the trust reposed in me,
and I will use my best endeavors to preserve the peace
and I will use my best endeavors to preserve the peace
and carry into effect according to law
and carry it into effect according to law,
the purposes for which I have been elected.
the purposes for which I have been elected.
So help me God.
So help me God.
You both got one more? Have you our picture?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I need to get that back over here.
So I'm going to have y'all scoot over just to hear this swear. Perfect. Awesome. Thank you.
Thanks, sir.
Just giving you a mouthful to start. Remember the whole thing?
Had a memory. Next, we invite Mayor Pro Tem Ron Williams. His oath of office would be administered by Charlie Spate, and he will be joined by his wife, Catherine.
I do solemnly swear that I am duly qualified,
I do solemnly swear that I am duly qualified,
according to the Constitution of this state,
according to the Constitution of this state,
to exercise the duties of the office
to exercise the duties of the office
to which I have been elected,
to which I have been elected,
and I will, to the best of my ability,
and I will, to the best of my ability,
discharge the duties thereof,
discharge the duties thereof,
and preserve and protect and defend
and preserve, protect, and defend
the Constitution of this state and the United States.
the Constitution of this state and the United States.
As a council member of the municipality of Lexington, South Carolina,
As a council member of the municipality of Lexington, South Carolina,
I will equally, fairly, and impartially,
I will equally, fairly, and impartially,
to the best of my ability and skill,
to the best of my ability and skill,
exercise the trust reposed in me,
exercise the trust reposed in me,
and I will use my best endeavors to preserve the peace
and I will use my best endeavors to preserve the peace
and carry into effect according to the law
and carry into effect according to the law,
the purposes for which I have been elected.
the purposes for which I have been elected.
So help me God.
So help me God. Congratulations.
Kiss me and I'll slug you.
I'm gonna have y'all step over. Keep going. Keep going. Perfect. And hold on. Perfect.
Finally, we invite Councilmember Gavin J. Smith. His oath of office would be administered by a former United States ambassador to Switzerland and Liechtenstein and senior advisor to President Donald J. Trump and Edward McMullen. And he will be joined by Matthew Smith to hold the Bible. And Ambassador, I have to say, they gave me a hard time and said that I was probably the only person in South Georgia that could say that, because I'm from South Georgia, so, you know, they were picking on me, but I did it.
Put your right hand, raise your right hand, put your left hand on the Bible. I do solemnly swear that I am duly qualified,
I do solemnly swear that I am duly qualified,
according to the Constitution of this state,
according to the Constitution of this state,
to exercise the duties of this office,
to exercise the duties of this office,
to which I have been elected,
to which I have been elected,
and that I will, to the best of my ability,
and that I will, to the best of my ability,
discharge the duties thereof,
discharge the duties thereof,
and preserve, protect, and defend
and preserve, protect, and defend
the Constitution of this state and of the United States.
the Constitution of this state and of the United States.
As a council member of the municipality of Lexington, South Carolina,
As a council member of the municipality of Lexington, South Carolina,
I will equally, fairly, and impartially,
I will equally, fairly, and impartially,
to the best of my ability and skill,
to the best of my ability and skill,
exercise the trust reposed in me,
exercise the trust reposed in me,
and I will use my best endeavors to preserve the peace,
and I will use my best endeavors to preserve the peace,
and carry into effect according to the law
and carry into effect, according to the law,
the purposes for which I have been elected.
the purposes to which I have been elected.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
We gonna scoot over? Perfect. Perfect.
This concludes tonight's oath of office ceremony. Congratulations once again to Ron Williams, Todd Carnes, and Gavin Smith. We look forward to continuing our work together in service to this wonderful community of Lexington. We appreciate y'all, and at this time, I'll give y'all just about 5 minutes in case some of y'all want to go and don't want to stay for our long meeting, or y'all welcome to stay, but I'll give y'all about 5 minutes to decide what y'all want to do. If y'all would like to speak to us before. Maybe I figure I'll have one to stay there, so. You got some kids there. Ready? Good evening. I'd like to welcome everyone to the Town of Lexington Council meeting. This council meeting is being held at Town Hall on Monday evening, December the 1st, 2025. This meeting is being broadcast live on the town's YouTube channel. I'm Hazel Livingston, the mayor of the Town of Lexington. I would like to introduce my fellow council members. To my left is Mayor Pro Tem Ron Williams.
Good evening.
To his left is Council Member Todd Lyle.
Good evening.
To his left is Council Member Jenny Michaels. Good evening. To my right is Council Member Todd Carnes.
Hello, everyone.
To his right is Council Member Gavin Smith.
Good evening.
And to his right is Council Member Will Allen.
Good evening.
And at this time, I'd like to ask the Reverend Eugene Rush from Pleasant Hill Baptist Church to come up and share an invocation with us.
Let us pray. Almighty God, our Father, the scripture says that every good and perfect gift is from above, coming from the Father of heavenly lights, who does not change like the shifting shadows. This evening we've come with a heart deeply thankful for all the gifts we have. We're thankful to those who have helped to get us where we are, and we're thankful for others who have helped us, the current mayor, those who are currently council members, those who have labored hard in all their endeavors for our town. Indeed, we all come here from all different places and different backgrounds, ethnicities, and we all have different paths. Yet this evening, we've all come here to inspired by one single mission, to struggle for the well-being of all those who inhabit this beloved town of Lexington we call home. And as our newly elected town council members assume their new responsibilities to lead us, may they be empowered to bear their responsibility of leadership with utmost integrity, courage, and humility. And may we also feel the dedication of their service to us, but not only their dedication to service to us, but our dedication to serve them. May we be inspired by their courage, their wisdom, and compassion, that they may stand in solidarity with the needy and the poor, defeat prejudice, and unify our town. May they be guided to know and to have the right mission in mind to challenge and defy anything at all that must diminish justice in this town and in the state and in this whole world. May we all view the remarkable moments of this truly divine place, that our purpose and intention is to work on repairing the world filled with injustice, with hate and intolerance. May we understand that we can never become enlightened until we become occupied not by being right, but with the lifting up of lives of people around us and healing our families and communities. May our intentions be sincere, our labor selfless, and may we enjoy the beautiful town that we do have, because it will become the shining light that sits on a hill. Amen.
Amen.
Thank you, Reverend Rush. We appreciate it. At this time, I would ask Councilmember Will Allen to lead us in the pledge, if y'all will all stand with us.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible,
now call the council meeting to order. Are there any deletions from tonight's agenda? Hearing none, council met in executive session prior to this meeting. Matters discussed in executive session as permitted by SC Code 30-4-70A, interview for backup municipal judge, one routine personnel matter, and discussion of personnel employee handbook and compensation plan. No vote was taken. Do I hear a motion to ratify this report?
So moved.
Mayor Pro Tem makes the motion. Do I hear a second?
Second. Sorry.
Councilman Carnes seconds it. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, raise your right hand. And it is unanimous. Now on to the approval of minutes. The minutes for the work session meeting on September the 15th, 2025, the council meeting on October the 6th, 2025, and the council meeting on November the 3rd, 2025 was included in the meeting packet. Do I hear a motion to approve these minutes?
So moved.
Councilman Carnes makes the motion.
I'll second it.
Councilman Smith seconds it. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, raise your right hand. And it is unanimous. Now I'll give a short vision plan update. Applications are still being accepted to serve on the Vision Plan Advisory Committee. This committee will be one of the driving forces giving input for the town's updated vision plan. It will be made up by a total of 10 citizen members appointed by council. All members must either reside in the town of Lexington or own a business within the town limits. If you would like to apply to serve, fill out the application on our website at lexsc.gov. Now we will have our traffic update from Mayor Pro Tem Williams.
Thank you, Mayor. On Saturday, December the 6th, after 10 p.m., a lane closure can be expected at Abbey Lane and US 378 as contractors install new mast arms at this intersection. Work is expected overnight. However, some work may be completed during the day. During the upcoming holiday season, we anticipate traffic volumes will increase around the town. Please exercise caution and bring a little patience along, and please watch out for the children that are going to be out of school. Finally, the next traffic committee meeting will be held on January the 14th at 8 a.m. at Town Hall in the 3rd floor conference room. Please exercise caution when traveling in construction areas. We encourage you to follow the Town of Lexington's Police Department social media outlets for traffic alerts and updates. Please call 803-358-7273 to report any traffic signal issues, unsafe roadway conditions, or a pothole that needs immediate repair.
Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem.
Yes, ma'am.
Next up, we have two presentations. The first one tonight is a proclamation for Arbor Day. I will ask Parks Director Jeff Metz to come forward, please. This is a proclamation of the mayor and council for the town of Lexington declaring December the 11th, 2025 as Arbor Day in the town of Lexington. Whereas in 1872, J. Sterling Morton proposed to the Nebraska Board of Agriculture that a special day be set aside for the planting of trees. And whereas this holiday, called Arbor Day, was first observed with the planting of more than 1 million trees in Nebraska. And whereas Arbor Day is now observed throughout the nation and the world, and whereas trees can reduce the erosion of our precious topsoil by wind and water, cutting heating and cooling costs, moderate the temperature, clean the air, produce life-giving oxygen, and provide habitats for wildlife. And whereas trees are a renewable source giving us paper, wood for our homes, fuel for our fires, and countless other wood products. And whereas trees in our town increase property values, enhance the economic vitality of business areas, beautify our community, and whereas trees, wherever they are planted, are a source of joy and spiritual renewal. Now therefore be it proclaimed by the mayor and council of the town of Lexington that Thursday, December the 11th, 2025 is hereby declared Arbor Day in the town of Lexington, South Carolina, and that all citizens are urged to celebrate Arbor Day by supporting efforts to protect our trees and woodlands and by planting trees to promote the well-being of this and future generations, dated this first day of December 2025. And I will come give it to you. Are we planting a tree that day, or do we have another day?
Yes, ma'am, we are.
Tell us where we're planting a tree this year.
Yes, we will be right behind the Virginia Hilton Playground. We lost a couple trees there in the last year or so, and so we'll meet out there at 9 a.m. on the 11th.
Thank you. Thank you for receiving that. And our next presentation is from Transportation Director Randy Edwards, a summary of the traffic impact study for proposed Bar Road development.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. As requested, I wanted to just come before you and give you a quick summary of the traffic impact analysis that was completed on behalf of the Bar Road residential neighborhood proposed. Michael, do you have the? The exhibit?
Yeah, I certainly can.
Let me start down the road. Okay, so at full build, this neighborhood that's been proposed over on Bar Road is projected to generate around 2,700 daily trips. Okay, and is expected to be fully built out by 2033. These impacts to the surrounding intersections are compared using the build year and projecting an aggressive 3% annual growth annually. So that's how we take existing data and project it to see what things will look like in 2033 and to see how we compare. So first we have two access points, one on Bar Road and one on the US 1 West Main Street area. Both of these were analyzed for both ingress and egress. The Bar Road intersection will have an ingress, additional left turn lane, as well as a right turn lane there on Bar Road across from the old Lexington 1 bus depot. Then over on West Main Street, we already have a 5-lane section which will accommodate the left turns there. Okay, so egress from the site was determined that 2 lanes leaving the site would be required at both locations, and that has been incorporated into the proposed plan. So furthermore, since the implementation of the LTIP, all new developments have been required to review nearby intersections. In this particular case, the intersection that was identified most near this proposed neighborhood is Wildlife at Bar. All right, and at the Wildlife and Bar intersection, this was evaluated based upon the proposed trips to require a fully developed left turn lane. So that's going from Bar Road, heading west or south, making a left turn onto Wildlife. So with that said, I don't know if you can zoom in at all, Michael, but.
Unfortunately, I can't on this program.
Okay. So we have that improvement planned at the Wildlife at Bar intersection. In addition to that, this intersection was evaluated to see whether or not it would meet a signal warrant analysis, and it does. So this project will require the implementation of a traffic signal. So you'll have a fully developed left turn lane as well as a operational traffic signal as the build continues. Additionally, then over at Bar Road at West Main Street, this intersection is actually identified in the second edition of the LTIP, which is soon coming. So working with Meritage, we were able to evaluate that intersection to see what the impacts of the neighborhood would have on that. And so with that, what we requested was a fully developed right turn lane heading eastbound, so from West Main Street onto Bar Road. This eastbound right turn lane is what helps improve the efficiency of the overall operations of the signal based upon reallocation of the signal timings. So the end result of these improvements is that at Bar and West Main, the intersection sees a 25% increase in efficiency, so that's operational efficiency, and a 11%, so 25% in the AM, 11% in the PM, based upon adding that right turn lane. Then the improvements over at Bar and Wildlife changes that intersections of level of service because it goes from a stop condition at Wildlife, a through condition on Bar Road, to being signalized in all directions, and it improves from a DF AM PM situation today to a CB level of service, and that includes all the build-out traffic included. So the end result is adding this neighborhood provides overall efficiency for both of these after build-out from what we see even today. And with that, that's your 2-minute summary.
I think
Any questions?
can you tell us about what the amount would be that this group is spending to improve traffic?
Yeah, I don't want to project their abilities to work with our contractors, et cetera, but this is projected to have anywhere from $750,000 to $1 million worth of on-the-ground improvement to the area.
Okay.
Mayor?
Yes.
Randy?
Yes, ma'am.
Is it correct to say that if this was not annexed into the town, the county does not require any of these road improvements?
So the intersection improvements at Wildlife and Bar at West Main, the county does not have a mechanism by which they make those requirements.
Okay.
The improvements at the egress points of the neighborhood would be required by SCDOT.
Okay. Thanks.
Madam Mayor.
Councilmember Smith, before you do all yours, because I know you got a lot to do, I'd just like to say, Councilmember Smith and I had some concerns about the interconnectivity on Yale Road moving forward, and we met with staff today and we learned a lot, and he's going to take y'all through some things that we learned and how it plays out with this.
Madam Mayor, if you may, I actually plan to ask those questions on the annexation portion.
No, it has to be done on this one.
On this one, okay, no problem. I'd like to start first with another round of questioning, if you don't mind. And Jessica, just so you know, I'm going to have a couple questions for you also. Randy, based on the presentation that you provided us and the traffic impact study that we received, can you confirm for the record that the total number of transportation improvements by this developer required to complete by this developer is, I think it was 7 that I counted, a total projects, whether it be the lanes, et cetera. Can you confirm that?
Yeah.
That's what I counted on.
4 specific site locations, and then there's, multi-directional,
Okay.
For each. So yeah, a significant number of improvements basically surrounding that neighborhood.
Okay, so let's just say 4 site improvements. And total, you said, just again, state for the record, it's $750,000 to $1 million worth of work, approximately.
Yeah, it's going to be in that neighborhood.
So just bear with me. So is it correct that because of the town's land development ordinances is what allows us to require these improvements? Is that correct? Specifically because our ordinances mandate that we can require a traffic impact study, and then it gives us the authority to then require them to pay for those improvements that are deemed necessary by that traffic impact study.
That is correct. Our land development manual allows us that latitude to work towards mitigating those trips as best as we can, within the existing condition. I mean.
Understood. Thank you. Jessica, so if annexation were declined tonight and the site plan with a few minor adjustments, is it fair to conclude that this development, similar in size, scope, I understand there could be variations in density slightly, but is it correct to assume that by county standards, on the same site, essentially the same site plan could be built?
Essentially, yes.
And I understand, again, let the record reflect, there might be some variations in density, but essentially, overall, the same neighborhood could be built, whether it's in the town or the county.
Correct.
All right, thank you. So when built on that same site, just outside of the town limits, but in accordance with the county's land development standards, would the developer be required to invest nearly $1 million in traffic improvements? And that's probably more of a question for Randy.
I would say required, the answer would probably be no.
Okay, thank you. So just to clarify for the record, in town, by our land development standards, we are able to require the developer to pay for nearly $1 million in transportation improvement projects. But by the county's land development standards, these $1 million in transportation improvement projects would still be necessary because they're warranted by the traffic impact study, but they would not be required by the county's land development standards, correct?
Correct.
Okay, so essentially the point I'm making is that the town standards are requiring these traffic improvement projects, whereas the counties are not. That is correct. All right. Bear with me, we're almost done. So Jessica, this site plan reflects 299 homes, is that right?
Correct.
And I believe I spoke with you today, so by my math, we collect $828 for 299 homes. That's $247,572, so say $250,000, right?
In transportation.
In transportation impact fees.
Yes, impact fees overall are roughly around $2,300 a home.
Right, but the transportation component of an impact fee
is $828.
$828 per home times 299 homes.
Correct.
That's about $250,000.
Correct.
And that is directly attributed to transportation improvement projects here in the community.
Correct.
Now, would the county collect that?
They do not have an impact fee in place.
So if this were not annexed into the town, not only would we not get the $1 million in traffic improvement projects, specifically the Wildlife Road, Bar Road signal project, we also would not get the $250,000 in impact fees collected for additional traffic improvement projects.
Correct.
So is it fair to say, and Randy, feel free to chime in on this, but if this development were built in the county, we're provided with one option, the same essentially development, but no impact fees, and the $1 million of traffic improvement projects not required by the county, thus the taxpayer has to pay for it, or you could annex into the town. We collect the impact fees, $250,000. We require the $1 million of traffic improvement projects. That's like option B. Am I correct to assume that?
Can I just make a clarification?
Please do.
Okay, so the way our impact fee ordinance is written, when a developer, such as in this case, makes improvements that improve the greater good, so anything other than their specific entrances, those types of things, they get full credit for that impact fee.
Okay.
So it's not a addition, it's just, we don't collect that extra $250. We still collect the parks and services portion, but we credit them for that $250,000.
But still, at the end of the day, it's still $1.25 million. It's just we credit them back, so really they're only doing $250,000 or $750,000-ish.
Right, they're not having to pay that $250,000.
Right. Understood. Okay. So again, is it fair to conclude that we're left with option A, no annexation, and we don't collect impact fees, and we don't get the traffic improvement projects of nearly $1 million? Or we annex, we still get the same site, but we get the impact fees collected, I understand it's a credit, and then we get the nearly $1 million worth of traffic improvement projects. That's our options.
Yes.
Okay. No further questions. Thank you.
So I think what you're saying is we're better if we annex this piece of property in the town. I think people need to clearly understand too, I mean, it's 7 years for this is built out. Our council has got time to plan and make sure our law enforcement is staffed and ready for this project. And we've got time to work with the school board to make sure their part of it is ready and that they're prepared for when it's built out, and us to work with the county for the fire and the ambulance services, the EMS services. So we have a 7-year window that we'll be working with these other bodies to make sure they're ready for the number of people that are coming into this neighborhood. It's not like it's in 2 years. So we've got time to plan in our budgets and be there.
Yes.
Okay. So you want to go ahead with the other? Because-
No, let Councilman
Okay.
Carnes.
Councilman Carnes.
Yeah, just a quick question. The signal that will be at Wildlife and Bar, I'm assuming that's not actually in town right there, that area. I don't know. So will that be an adaptive signal at that intersection?
It would not be necessary to be an adaptive signal. I mean, we believe that it's so far removed from the system that while it would still be hours for maintenance, even though it's not in town, it would be similar to, for example, Bar and Main is not in town either, and we maintain that. So we would maintain this signal as well, but it would not be projected to be adaptive.
It wouldn't synchronize. I hear you. And then, yeah, I guess that's, I had one more related to that, but it just escaped my mind. All right. Thanks, sir.
Sure.
Oh, I know what it was. We're analyzing, because I drive that road every day. We're analyzing that thing all the time, and Hendricks and Bar is also not in town. But Hendricks and Bar do not have alignment.
Correct.
And it's horrific. Mm-hmm. When you're trying to look back right and make a left. It's a fatality waiting to happen. Like, how do we work with our county partners or whoever to align that intersection at a 90-degree angle? Right now it's at about a 45. You know the one I'm talking about?
I do.
And trying to look back right is, every time I look back, I kind of ease out in the left lane because I want to give myself a chance to correct if I miss that person. What do we need to do to bring alignment to that intersection since it's outside of town, but what's our process? Because we need to get on that.
So the good part is we've identified that in the LTIP. So it's been identified and has been evaluated for what improvements are necessary there. So it's a matter of, and this traffic study looked at it and allowed it to operate as it is, simply because we felt like the greater need was on Bar at West Main as far as the level of service of that intersection. So I think it's just a matter of, like, when we finish the LTIP 2, there will be a reevaluation of priorities of those projects. Council's obviously more than welcome to prioritize that, whether it be through, just begin the land acquisition process, because clearly you're going to have to obtain right-of-way. But it has been identified and is being evaluated and will be in the second edition of the LTIP.
All right.
So that's the first step for us. Because any other development that would occur, that would obviously be Wildlife and Bar, if you will, is now going to be taken care of. Mm-hmm. And so the next logical step is to make those other, let's just call it more minor from an operational standpoint, intersections.
All right. Well, I would just like to get on your guys' radar because the right-of-way acquisition there is just unusable, undeveloped land right there. Mm-hmm. So maybe we could begin a conversation with our county partners and have some kind of shared agreement to get that on everybody's radar over the next few years because it really is horrendous. Mm-hmm. I appreciate it.
It's correct.
Madam Mayor.
Yes, sir.
All right, I promise this one will be shorter. But thank you. As the mayor mentioned, we met with staff earlier today. I wanted to work through some of these questions so that I didn't do a long questioning like that. I see Mr. Dan sitting back there, and about a year ago, I met with, 40 or 50 residents in a cul-de-sac in the Yell Road subdivision. And my biggest concern about this project has been connectivity between this subdivision, proposed development, and the existing neighborhood that's there. It's one of my biggest concerns, and today is my biggest concern. So I was able to work through that with y'all today, and you correct me because you are much smarter on this than I, but I want to walk through that process. So the town, is it correct to say that we have given up our right-of-way rights? There is, as the site is laid out currently, there are no right-of-way, there's no right-of-way given to the town to establish connectivity between these two subdivisions.
That is correct. There is no right-of-way planned to be platted to make that connection.
All right, so for the record, there is absolutely no intention of the town connecting between this proposed subdivision and the Yell Road subdivision.
Correct. The town does not have any intentions to make that connection.
And to the best of your knowledge, does the developer have that intention?
The developer does not have an intention to make that connection.
And separating these two subdivisions is a dog park, correct?
That is what's proposed, yes.
And the dog park is owned by the HOA, is that correct? Or will be owned by the HOA?
That is correct.
Okay, so walk me through, as you did today, if we wanted to establish connectivity, which, to be clear, I'm happy to be on the record, this meeting's being recorded, I will not support. Maybe you can get other people to, but I will not. But if connectivity were desired, you would then have to go through a quite lengthy process, which we went through today. I'll let you walk us through that, to even try to do that. And I'll let you choose who does that.
Okay, well, in short, because we would not be the landowner, we would have to work with the HOA to acquire the property necessary. Would take a council action, first of all, to request that that were to be done. Then we would have to go through that process, establish a value, make an offer, and acquire the property. The HOA has that, and so they would have to obviously be a willing party in this case to facilitate that to happen. Is that?
Yes, so to clarify, to recap, council would have to have a desire to do that. Council would have to hold a public hearing and take a public vote to direct staff to do that, by which public could give their input. Then you, as staff, would then go to the new neighborhood's HOA, and you would say, we'd like to do this, and it would require their HOA, the residents of their agreement in accordance with their bylaws, their covenants, would have to agree to sell that property to the town. You would then have to go to the county council, because they own the roads, get the county council to agree, by which they would also have to have a public meeting and a public vote. Then it would come back to town to make a purchase and council to authorize the use of those funds. Did I summarize that correctly?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
The only
Okay.
other option would be if the homeowners petitioned the council for that,
Okay.
to start that process. So it's either council driven or the homeowners present that.
Okay. The biggest piece of heartburn I've had with the whole project is the possibility for connectivity. But hearing that be explained today, I'm an HOA president outside of this, and I know the hurdles it is to get a neighborhood to agree to, 75% of my neighborhood to agree to anything. Having all the neighbors of that neighborhood agree to it would certainly be a major hurdle. But I'll take it one step further. I'll let the mayor chime in on this. We are also asking staff to evaluate best practices for not only getting the new proposed subdivision to agree to this, but also going to the affected community and getting their HOA, or if they don't have an HOA, maybe all the property owners there, similar to how we do with annexation. We require 75% to agree to that. So we're asking staff to just bring us back some proposed recommendations for how we could possibly do that, and then this council could consider if we wanted to update our ordinances. I think future land use plans, some of our other plans would have to be in compliance. But Madam Mayor, feel free to chime in there.
I think what Gavin and I met with staff today, and some of the things that come out of our conversation was that I know Yale is not in the town of Lexington, but you made us start thinking about our neighborhoods that are here and are next to pieces of land that may sell eventually and be developed, is how we can look at best practices to protect those neighborhoods that are already here moving forward. So that's what we brought to staff is, can you take a look at this? Can you bring it back? Can you tell us what we need to do to protect the current citizens that are already here in neighborhoods moving forward? Because people do have a right to sell their land and to develop it, but we want to make sure we're looking at everybody fairly. So that's kind of what we did, and it wasn't just about that one thing, but it was to look at the whole picture of how a neighborhood can be affected by another piece of land that is sold next to it. So but they said they'd be glad to do that. They'd do some research and come back to us and let us start looking at that.
Yes. And I'll just say, and I'll conclude, sorry, Councilmember Carnes, Dan and to all the other residents that are back there, you've got my word that if that comes before us, I will stand with you tooth and nail and fight tooth and nail to make sure that we do not connect, because I agree with you. I do not think that we should connect.
And I have told you the same thing, Dan, and I still stand here saying the same thing. That, but I felt much better when the staff explained to me today that we were not maintaining any easement or right of way for connectivity. So that right there told me that what I needed to hear. I felt very good about it, and that comes from a lot of years of experience up here. They satisfied me when they told me that. They could have satisfied me 6 months ago, but by telling me that. But anyway, anybody else have anything else?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, sir.
Randy, when will the Bar Road and Highway 1 light be complete? How long will that take?
That's part of their encroachment permit process. They would be required to submit all of that. We have not seen any phasing plans at this point as to, so, and clearly the build out, I don't speak for them, I don't know where they are specifically, but we're talking 18, 24 months before even the first house, right, is up out of the ground. So
I guess let me take that a little further. Then Wildlife and Bar will be the same scenario, I'm assuming.
Correct.
Okay. So is there a way for us to stipulate, or for it to be stipulated that these intersections need to be complete and operable before we start putting more traffic in that area?
In our land development ordinance, it states that infrastructure improvements have to be done appropriately throughout the phasing plan. Historically, we ensure that they're working with Randy as we move through that process. Obviously, permitting for land disturbance is going to take quite a time, and then we have to circulate bonded plats for certain phases. So we typically get a bond to cover infrastructure, and then we ensure that they have their encroachment permits in place.
Well, but is there a way so we don't have houses built, people out there, and still don't have the road projects done, is what I'm trying to see. I'd like to be ahead of the traffic curve instead of trying to fix the traffic after we've already created more traffic.
Would you like for Charlie, the engineer, to speak?
That would be great.
Thank you.
Hey, Councilman, Charlie Greer, Team Whiteside.
Yes, sir.
So there would be a phasing plan done with the traffic study if Meritage is going to phase out the homes, but what would happen is DOT would not allow us to have an active access into our site if those things aren't already complete before houses are built. So
okay.
To answer your question, long story short, there will be improvements completed before any houses are built. The exact improvements and the timing of which ones are going to be done first is going to be based on the DOT permitting process.
Okay.
So DOT won't allow us to have an active access unless X, Y, and Z are done. We don't know what that X, Y, and Z, we know what they are, we just don't know which order they're going to be quite yet until the permitting process is done.
Awesome, because it's crazy to build a subdivision, have people living in it, and start putting a decel lane out in front of it.
No, that's not,
done first.
Not the intention.
All right, and then Jessica, by my math, $2,300 a house for impact fees. That's going to leave us $438,000 for parks and police.
Correct. So it's broken down between municipal facilities and parks and recreation.
Okay, thank you.
Madam Mayor?
Yes, sir.
Kind of reticent to say this, but this is a place of public debate. I just want to note, the way the subdivision is laid out, I don't have the exact numbers, but approximately 100 homes are on the west side of that dam. As you come in off Bar Road, there's the one privately maintained dam, and then you've probably got somewhere around 100 homes that are across that privately maintained dam by the HOA that abut up against Yale Road, right? Something like that?
Yeah.
I mean, if I were laying out the subdivision, I would just kind of you got some that's up against Highway 1, some on Bar Road, some at Yale. But I would just, I don't know how we'd go about making that decision, and I hear Councilman Smith's argument, and I know a bunch of people here from Yale Road, but I still just want to throw out a little balloon that anytime you try to make decisions based on what the people there are going to want in 50 years, you're just throwing it against the wall and hoping that you're right. So I think that this council, certainly this council member, this council, nobody has any appetite to connect this subdivision to Yale Road against the will of the developer and the people on Yale Road. But this is 2025. Like, I'm 56, I ain't going to be here in 50 years. I have no idea what those people want. And so I think it would be foolish to build in such a way that the people 50 years from now, none of whom are in this room, could not have opportunity to think about that differently, and or just the emergency scenario. If the dam goes out, we got 100 homes there, we got 500 people, and no way to get out. There's a house there. Unless there's some kind of navigable path for a fire truck, for an EMS, for an ambulance or something to come off of Yale Road and get to them for some season. And so I think it would only be prudent to allow for a future pathway there if needed, and if the people 50 years from now wanted it. I think it would be imprudent to block that prematurely today because of what we all want today. We know what we all want today, we just don't know what the future holds. I think there's an emergency vehicle scenario there, and just the will of the people in the future, because the only way it would happen in the future is through the will of the people. So I think it should be, I think it'd be the prudent thing to do to leave that door open, knowing that it would take the will of the people to drive through. I'm just putting that on the record.
But
thank you.
That is kind of the way it is, because it's got a dog park there. It is,
Well,
but it's
it depends on if you, it depends on if you put a house there or not, or if you leave a 50-foot pathway from the end of that road to Yale Road. If you don't leave a 50-foot clean pathway there, then you've shut the door for the next century. And, you know, if that dam goes out, what are we going to do? We're going to buy some helicopters.
I think for the record, and that's why, while we haven't reserved any right-of-way, there is sufficient space there that if the appetite becomes such that connectivity is desired and can be facilitated, that hill can be climbed.
That's what I'm for, is preserving the space. I think it would be imprudent not to preserve the space out of some kind of fear that something may be shoved down somebody's throat later on. I think that would be, I think that's short-sighted in my opinion, but I'm just one.
But that is the way it is now, except for we do not have an
I know,
easement.
but there's been a lot of talk about just constructing something there to close that off forevermore out of that fear, and I think that would be imprudent.
That's a dog park, and they would have to move it.
As long as there's 50 feet between those two houses. Actually, probably it'd be 70 feet between those two houses.
There's sufficient space.
And it's remaining in the site plan as of now?
Yes, yes.
Okay. Thank you.
Anybody else? Hearing none, we're going to move to the public hearing section, not for this public hearing, just let y'all all know, will be in January. It is not tonight. So if you want to speak at the public hearing, it will be in January, not tonight. Okay? If you want to speak to that. But we do have two items. If y'all want to speak to it, you're more than welcome to. Ordinance for Corley Street Park deed quitclaim.
That's what I'm feeling right now.
Ordinance to authorize the acquisition of the right-of-way and transfer of property with Lexington School District 1. Hearing none, I will close the public hearings for tonight's meeting, and we'll move into old business. The first one is from Councilmember Lyle, final reading of an ordinance for Corley Street Park.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. So the Corley Street Park currently sits across two different parcels and is deeded in two different names, one being the town of Lexington and another being a cemetery with trustees as successors through the town of Lexington. In order for the town of Lexington and its park to be given the opportunity for different funding and grant mechanisms, we need both parcels to be titled the same, and therefore it needs to be owned outright, both parcels by the same name as the town of Lexington. So we need that approval, and so, Madam Mayor, I'd make a motion for final reading approval to execute a deed as successor trustees for the cemetery of the town of Lexington over to the town of Lexington.
Councilmember Lyle makes the motion. Do I hear a second?
Second.
Mayor Pro Tem seconds it. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, raise your right hand. And it is unanimous. Our next item of old business is final reading of an ordinance to authorize the acquisition of right-of-way and transfer of property with Lexington School District 1, Councilmember Carnes.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. The ordinance attached will allow the town of Lexington to acquire and transfer real property required to complete transportation improvements involving the widening of SC Route 6 North Lake Drive and the extension of Harmon Street and Azalea Drive to SC Route 6. The action includes authorization to acquire and transfer property as needed, approve the right-of-way agreement with Lexington County School District 1. This infrastructure project supports traffic flow improvements and enhanced connectivity in the town's core transportation network. I make a motion for final reading approval.
Councilman Carnes makes a motion. Do I hear a second?
Second.
Councilman Michaels seconds it. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, raise your right hand. And it is unanimous. Moving on to our new business, first reading of an ordinance establishing rules and regulations for town parks by title only. Mayor Pro Tem Williams.
Thank you, Mayor. As discussed during the summer and at a previous work session, staff consulted with the police department regarding our parks regulations. An ordinance updating the town park rules has been prepared to ensure the safe and enjoyable use of all our town parks. These rules would apply to all parks with the exception of the Old Mill Trail and the dog park. Make a motion for first reading approval by title only.
Mayor Pro Tem makes a motion. Do I hear a second?
I'll second it.
Councilman Smith seconds it. Is there any discussion?
Madam Mayor,
Yes, sir.
by title only means that we're not actually voting on these proposed rules, we're just voting on the title of this, is that right?
That's correct.
Okay, thank you.
And I think you heard the rules at the retreat this year. Didn't we go over the rules then? And then we had them brought back at the work session too?
That's correct, Mayor. In September, which is also included in the packet as an attachment to this item, are the proposed park rules. They've not changed since September.
Just to clarify though, the presentation would look different than this, I assume.
Yes, it would be in a format of the ordinance, which is why it's in title only tonight. We are finalizing that.
The using the parks at your own risk would be up top and very noticeable and obvious and not buried 3/4 of the way down, right?
Yes, sir.
Make it the biggest letters possible, okay?
Just want to make sure we're being good stewards of the taxpayers' money and not getting ourselves involved in anything.
Okay.
Thank you.
Anyone else? All those in favor, raise your right hand. And it is unanimous. Our next item is first reading of an annex of Lexington County property located at Reed Avenue. Councilmember Will Allen.
Is that next? Madam Mayor, you skipped my agenda.
Huh?
You skipped my new
I
business.
skipped you? Oh, how did I do that? Okay, I'm sorry. Our next item is approval of mutual aid agreement with American Leadership Academy for School Resource Officer, Councilmember Smith.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. The attached agreement, which was included in our agenda packet, continues school resource officer positions at the American Leadership Academy School. The positions are currently funded by a state grant. If the grant is not funded in the future, Charter One will cover 75% of the cost, and the town will cover 25%, including salaries, benefits, and startup equipment. All other terms follow the existing SRO agreements. With that said, Madam Mayor, I move for approval to sign and enter into a mutual aid agreement with American Leadership Academy.
Councilman Smith makes the motion. Do I hear a second?
Second.
Councilman Michaels seconds the motion. Is there any discussion?
Madam Mayor,
Yes, sir.
I need to recuse myself from this vote as I sit on a statewide board related to ALA.
Okay. Any other discussion? All those in favor, raise your right hand. And it is unanimous with one excused and one missing. That work? Okay, now I'm on the right item. Item number 3, first reading of annexation of Lexington County property located at Reed Avenue. Councilmember Allen.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Charles F. Thompson Jr. and Mary Ellen Thompson own approximately 14.24 acres on Reed Avenue and has petitioned to annex the property. A single-family dwelling is currently located on the site. Properties in town near this one are zoned protected residential and protected residential 2. Reed Avenue is classified as a local road. The property is shown on the future land use map as suburban residential area. The comprehensive land use plan describes this area as low-density, single-family detached housing on large lots. At its November meeting, the Planning Commission recommended annexation with protected residential zoning and recommended classifying Reed Avenue as a local road. Madam Mayor, I move for first reading approval of recommended annexation and zoning classification.
Councilmember Allen makes the motion. Do I hear a second?
I'll second it.
Councilmember Smith seconds it. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, raise your right hand. And it is unanimous. Item number 4 is Marketplace Development LLC easement and access agreements. Mayor Pro Tem Williams.
Thank you, Mayor. The town of Lexington plans to construct a new 100-space surface-level parking lot on the property along North Church Street. It's about 1.2 acres and contains approximately .29. What? Containing? It's 2 different parcels, sorry. One's 1.12 acres, one's .29. An easement agreement is needed from Marketplace Development, which is Wild Smiles, located at 203 North Lake Drive. An easement agreement has been negotiated with Marketplace Development for the construction of the surface-level parking facility and for the installation, maintenance, and repair of a stormwater drainage facility. The easement will run with the title to the property, and the town will provide 15 parking spaces for use by Marketplace Development during the hours of 7:30 a.m. to 6 p.m. on each business day. Hereby request council approval to enter into a easement agreement with Marketplace Development, LLC. Make that in form of a motion.
Mayor Pro Tem makes the motion. Do I hear a second?
Second.
Councilman Michaels seconds it. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, raise your right hand. And it is unanimous. Our item number 6 is Mashburn Construction Company and access agreements approval. Councilmember Carnes.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Construction has begun on a new hotel at 116 East Main Street. The general contractor, Mashburn Construction Company, has requested to use the town's vacant property located at 212 North Church Street, tax map number 432-05-007, for parking of Mashburn's employees, contractors, subcontractors, equipment, and agents during the construction phase of this project. The terms are for 6 months and month to month thereafter. We hereby request council to authorize the town administrator to enter into the following agreement with Mashburn at the time of construction. I'll make a motion for that.
Councilman Carnes makes a motion. Is there a second?
Second.
Mayor Pro Tem seconds it. Is there any discussion?
Madam Mayor,
Yes, sir.
just want to briefly make sure, David, did we do all sorts of cover our butt stuff in here and hold harmless type stuff?
We did. They're also required to maintain insurance.
Okay, excellent. And named us as an additional insured?
Yes.
All right, thank you.
Great job. Any other discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, raise your right hand. And it is unanimous. Item number 7 is contract review for Old Cherokee 378 relocation project approval. Councilmember Lau.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Part of the utility easement relocation project at 378 Old Cherokee Road in front of the public shopping center. Requires us to maintain a new easement. We have to relocate it. This was originally bid in July earlier this year, to which no bids were submitted. After consulting with those bidders, we solicited a few more quotes. 2 were received, with the lowest being Williams Infrastructure, quote of $658,551. On October the 1st, town staff engaged that same group to review the project scope and identify some cost savings opportunities, which I'm proud to say that Randy, great job. Looks like they knocked it down to $447,245. So, Madam Mayor, I would make a motion that we request council approval for this cost proposal from Williams Infrastructure for the utility relocation project.
Councilmember Lau makes the motion. Do I hear a second?
Second.
Councilman Smith, second. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, raise your right hand. And it is unanimous. And our last item is first reading annexation of proposed development off Bar Road. Councilmember Michaels.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Benjamin Satcher Jr. and Satcher Properties LLCs own 191.08 acres on 5 separate parcels and have petitioned to annex the property. A 299-unit subdivision is being planned on the site. Properties in the town near this are zoned limited commercial. Bar Road is classified as a collector road. West Main is classified as an arterial road. The property is shown on the future land use map as a suburban residential area. The comprehensive land use plan describes the general character of suburban residential areas as low-density, single-family detached houses on large lots. At their July meeting, the Planning Commission recommended annexation with protected residential PR zoning. Madam Mayor, and Council make the first reading approval for first reading approval.
Councilman Michaels makes the first reading. Motion for first reading. Do I hear a second?
Second.
Councilman Carnes seconds it. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, raise your right hand. And all those opposed? 1 opposed and 6 for. Okay. That concludes the business items for tonight. Are there any comments from the public regarding a specific agenda item tonight?
You got a hand raised.
If you're going to speak, you can come up here, and it has to be specific to this. If it's about the Bar Road, we're going to have, it's not, come on up here then if it's about an agenda item. Tell us who you are and where you live.
Kathy Miller, I'm on East Butler Street, and I don't know when is proper time to ask a question about in town. I've got a letter that was received in my water bill discussing the sidewalks improvement and want people to walk, and I don't know when I can just ask for a question.
That's not an agenda item tonight, but I'll be glad to speak with you about that.
Okay.
Or set up a meeting with you to speak with you about that and explain to you kind of where we're at with all that kind of all that.
Because that's all I wanted to find out, because every time you come to meetings, it's not addressed, and you don't, people don't, we all don't know when we can come up and spend 5 minutes.
And you can get on the agenda for a work session if you would like to come and talk at a work session too.
And that would be December the 6th coming up?
No, that is the 15th.
The 15th, okay, thank you.
Anyone else that would like to speak to anything that was on the agenda? Any news media have any questions? Any staff have any comments or questions? I'd just like to say welcome back to all 3 of y'all. We're very glad to have y'all here and to be working for us and working for the community. We appreciate y'all. I would like to give a warm welcome to our new team members who joined the town in November. We have Joy in finance and Tyler, Matthew, and Keon in utilities. We're excited to have them as part of our Lexington family. We want to invite everyone to join us for the Snowball Festival this weekend at the Ice House Amphitheater. The fun begins Thursday, December the 4th with the Christmas Craft Fair. On Friday, enjoy more crafts, take pictures with Santa, see the tree lighting, and catch a holiday movie. They tell me this is rain or shine. I'm arguing about that, but I haven't won yet. So it's probably rain or shine like they tell me. Saturday is packed with excitement with the carnival, Santa visits, and the Santa Claus movie at 5:30 p.m. The festival wraps up Sunday, December the 7th, with the grand parade at 3 p.m. And to some of our neighbors that are here, our police is already on staff to protect your yards this year. We also want to encourage everyone to support our Shop Local and Dine Local initiative, which highlights many of the wonderful small businesses in our community and dining locally to help our community thrive. For more information, including all events details and spotlight videos, be sure to check out our website and social media sites. Come out, celebrate the season, and enjoy all the holiday fun with us. That concludes our business for this evening, and thank you for watching. We are adjourned.